Oh, Brad, there you are.
Oh, shit. My bad.
But it's kind of been that type of day here. It's been that type of week. Hey, welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. How you guys doing? Happy Monday. Our final show before we take a little break. We're going to take about 2+ weeks to kind of reshift, reset. But we got to wrap up football season. We were down in New Orleans till Saturday night. We're going to talk everything that was the week leading up to it. Talk about the game, obviously, and then what we have in store. Brad is here, as you can see. Brad.
Oh, hey, guys.
Brad made his way back from NOLA, and Zach did as well. And Kevin.
I was not in New Orleans, and I wanted to. It feels like you three are New Orleans residents now. You know, it feels like you guys really ingrained yourself in that city. And I bet if you guys could get on a flight and go back today, all three of you would do it.
1,000%.
Yeah. There was a big debate, Kevin, that we weren't gonna leave.
Just relocate the studio, like get everything shipped down.
There were conversations had on the car ride to the airport.
Yep.
Of what if we don't get on the plane?
Like, let's put it this way: you ever seen Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes,
Kevin?
I have. I actually have.
So, and they're like, it's the right thing to leave for Jordan Belfort. Like, he's got to leave,
but he doesn't
save the company.
Yeah.
Because then you have the moment then where you know what? And for us, like our health and like to get out of New Orleans here because it was work hard, play hard, Kev.
I'm sure those hand grenades were like the Green Goblin mask when you were getting on that plane. You just knew it was a drive away.
No
you have.
I don't. I wish I did. I don't.
So
standing outside that bar,
they're
staring at you.
But so Kevin, to go to my point, it was like, I'm not fucking leaving. Like that's how it felt. And then all of us getting on the plane, I had to go take the rental car back. And I dropped Brad and Zach off with the bags.
Yeah,
in my mind, I'm like, I might just go back
to
Bourbon.
Just one more day. Just one more night.
Just one more night.
One more.
All of us were hoping our flight was going to be delayed or canceled. Oh, no, the weather.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But honestly, it was good for our health because I'll tell you what, guys, I was exhausted. Wouldn't change anything for the world. The best part of it.
We left on a highlight, so.
We did. Left on a highlight, but overall, it's about building relationships and connections, honestly, guys. So if our community, you guys know this, as we've built this up, you know how much we value people. And so getting down there, and we have so much content that's coming your way. We don't even know what to do with all of it yet. We do have a plan, but we still don't know what to do with so much of it. But it was because of the people that we met, the relationships that were made there, made the experience what it was. Now, we can't wait to share that with all of you guys, and we're going to show you a little bit of the week leading up to it. But man, oh man, we cannot wait for the next opportunity next year going out to San Fran as we're the Super Bowl. So hopefully, knocking on wood, we get approved and we're there.
And I will say I will be there. And since it is in San Francisco, we are going to Alcatraz.
Oh my God.
I think Kevin.
Alcatraz is one of my favorite places, not because I was there, but like because I went there on a tour one time and it was the greatest day of my life. So we are going to Alcatraz.
I don't know if Kevin would have survived. Bro.
I don't think, Kevin, you realize what's actually going to transpire. But I can tell you this. We're not fucking going to Alcatraz.
We kept saying on Bourbon Street, we were like, I would love to see Kevin in this atmosphere right now.
Because we don't know what would happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
All right, my one thing.
I mean, like,
Bourbon
do you not
Street,
party ever, Kevin? Have you ever?
I used to, but
used
now
to be a
I'm
Four Locos guy.
I did. I used to drink Four Loko casually.
Like, that's the Kevin I want to see.
Yeah.
I will say
in college, I used to go out on the weekdays and not on the weekends.
Only downside to Bourbon Street is like there's like a 95% chance that you will run into some horse poop on the side.
You know, I'm willing to take that sacrifice.
There were moments where I was like, this is kind of really gross. Like we would sit there and we're like, so what do we want to do? And I'm like, there are three massive.
Well, I think because when you're not in the right state of mind, it's easy when you can look down and but when you're having the hand grenades like you guys said you were, and you're walking all around,
then for others. Like you just see a bunch of drunk people wandering, and you're like, you're about to faceplant in this. Like I'm like, how is this the hazard? This is a hazard.
Yeah. So we'll get into all the hazards and our whole week in general, from Bourbon Street to Radio Row to everything in between. But guys, there was a football game last night, even though I got to say it wasn't what you guys didn't expect the Chiefs to be down 24 at halftime. You kidding me? Right. But overall, congrats to the Eagles. They honestly, it was the first time it felt like with the Chiefs, they played a team that on paper Philly was the better team, I thought, right? We know Andy Reid, all-time coach. They got playmakers. They know how to win. But Philly legit played like they were supposed to win, and not just supposed to win. I mean, they just dominated from the jump. I mean, I thought that one pass interference on A.J. Brown, like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is there going to be something? And then after that, the Eagles just didn't look back. Cooper DeJean, pick 6 on his birthday, first interception of his career. And Patrick Mahomes, I think it was the first time, it's the 6th time ever. I forget who, credit to the guy for the stat. Apparently it's the 6th time in NFL history a quarterback in the Super Bowl was not blitzed the entire game.
Yeah. And every single quarterback that's had that happen has lost.
All 6 have lost.
Seth Walder was who put that out.
Seth Walder, well, shout out him because that is fascinating. That's what it was. The score, Brad, was not as close as it really was. 40-22 was the final.
Yeah.
Was an absolute blowout. Philly, it was a party all night. Hell, it was a party all week for Philly fans.
It was a home game.
Yeah, Brad, fair to say, 85%, it felt like on New Orleans was Philly fans.
We were on Bourbon Street, and there wasn't a Chiefs fan to be seen. It was just all green and white.
And to the point where it wasn't even like, you would get 2 steps and every 5 seconds you'd look at someplace and they're doing the E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. But it didn't stop there. Like you would go in and the whole place would be having the live musicians playing Fly Eagles Fly. Like it wasn't just, the Eagles fans are taking them. They were having the bars completely go full Philly. Like this was a home game for Philadelphia. That place was rocking in green all week.
It was Rockking, rocking, Kevin. But also for MGM, BetMGM they put out a tweet about the game specifically and saying that this was the most bet on event that they have had in the history for them. Super Bowl 59, this is the quote, was the single biggest betting event in the history of BetMGM. It took the most bets and was one of the best single game results in company history. Super Bowl bettors cashed in on Eagles money line and Jalen Hurts Super Bowl MVP, but the defense is slowing down. Travis Kelce and Saquon Barkley profited the house with BetMGM and the sportsbook a tremendous amount of money. Brad, I know you had some Saquon.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Yep, same.
I just needed Saquon to score a damn touchdown.
Yeah, we went up to Hollywood.
That was the sure thing that I wasn't worried about.
Yeah, and we did go up to Hollywood.
And Rocco put the Travis Kelce touchdown in there.
Yeah,
of course.
We had that.
I forgot about it. God damn it.
Yeah,
my leg?
Mahomes rushing yards. I think we were good.
Oh yeah,
it was Hurts 2 touchdowns, wasn't it? I think Rocco's is what. Unless we had Saquon touchdown.
We had Saquon 2.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought it was Hurts 2.
No,
I won Hurts anytime touchdown.
Okay,
I mean, some of us know ball, Ryan.
Okay. Sad, but yeah, I've never seen Mahomes look that rattled ever. Even in the Tampa Super Bowl, I've never seen him look that rattled.
So now Mahomes. By the way, Chiefs, the 3-peat is denied. It would have been incredible, but I guess for the longest time, that's why I meant what I said about when you're watching these games, like the Chiefs record going, and everyone goes, "Man, they're not as good. They're going to be exposed." Well, first off, you can't say that because they were exposed lists or whatever the word is. They didn't get exposed in the AFC. They won it. And you could say what you want, they won it, but then Philly truly was the first team all year that actually throttled them. Like there was no doubt. There was no, it's a close game. A call could have been here or there. Philly just flat out dominated. Their front seven was unbelievable. Their offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage. And we'll get into Jalen Hurts because incredible game from him as well. But Zach, they just
and it was
a clinic.
The conversation all week, at least that I was having with others on Radio Row, it felt like we just had the same conversation over and over. And it was, if you look at the roster, I was like, the Philadelphia Eagles are better at almost every aspect at every position down the line. I was like, the only one that I'm going to give you to the Chiefs are probably head coach and quarterback. Besides that, it was the Eagles, and it was always the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That being said, the conversation was always with every person we would joke. It would be like, hey, feel like the Eagles are better in every single way. But haven't we been saying that about almost every team the Chiefs have played this year? And they've found a way. So the weird, like, eerie feeling on Radio Row was Eagles should win this, but the Chiefs are probably going to find a way. But man, did the Eagles say, hey, that ain't happening.
No, I mean, literally, that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't competitive. And you're thinking, okay, the Chiefs are going to get their way back into the game. Then Mahomes throws the pick 6. Then he throws the pick again before the half.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, damn, like this is over. And it was over. It was game, set, match for the Philadelphia Eagles, who captured their second Super Bowl. And shout out to Nick Sirianni, Kevin, and Zach.
Okay.
And Sean McVay even said this on the broadcast that he said, and I thought it was very interesting. He goes, yeah, Sirianni's the most disrespected coach in the NFL. And he might be, to be completely honest. I mean, look, people were calling for his job in the last year. Yeah. And in his 4 years now, 3 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and a Super Bowl title, Zach. Yeah, that's you.
Looking back in week 3 when we talked about coaches we thought were going to be fired first, and I said Sirianni, I did not expect to be in this situation.
Well, we weren't wrong at the time.
I mean, do you think you owe
Sirianni
an apology at this point?
Yeah.
No.
I'll apologize. I'll say it.
Are you shitting me?
I apologize for thinking he would be the first. But like Kevin said, in that moment, they had lost it was like 12 of their last 15.
There was drama.
All of Philly wanted him gone, but I'll give him this. Mofo turned that shit around.
Yeah, in that
Philly, to be fair, all of Philly wants everybody gone.
Yeah.
They hated Jalen Hurts for the longest time.
Literally like 10 weeks.
All the way up till yesterday, they hated Jalen Hurts. And I know this because I got friends who are Philly fans and they don't like him at all. I'm like, what are you not seeing?
There was a conversation in December about how bad Hurts was and how it was Saquon's team and he shouldn't be in these conversations. I mean, didn't we hear the man Zach Bollinger himself go on a Jaden Daniels rant like 2 weeks ago about how Jaden's this tier and Jalen's down here?
Don't believe it.
Well, so yes, I will say this. I don't think that Jalen Hurts is in the top 3. I don't think he's top 4. He's probably top 5 quarterbacks, but that's still in some pretty good company. Yeah. He's not an elite quarterback. He's not. And when I say 3 elite, I'm talking top 3. Those are the elite quarterbacks. Everybody else is just, the rest of the league, in my opinion. It's just not going to be, I'm not going to see how he would be in that tier with Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen.
Well, and I think this is where we have 2 conversations around the game. It's going to be around the GOAT conversation that's been talked about with Patrick Mahomes trying to catch Brady. And maybe that's going to be silenced now. But then the other one was the disrespect around Jalen Hurts. I tweeted something out earlier today. Yeah. It just felt like it's been unwarranted criticism for Jalen Hurts for however long he's been in the league. And actually, Dan Orlovsky today on First Take talked about really that Jalen Hurts has earned and deserves the respect and credit for what he's been able to accomplish. So let's play that clip for you guys.
What we're going to say about Jalen Hurts or what he proved last night is he's unbreakable. He's unbreakable. And he proved that this and this for an athlete will always matter more than anything else. And you have to give Jalen Hurts credit. This is a young man that was benched in the national championship game. Benched by the greatest college football coach of all time. Didn't break him. Had to go back in a year later. Transfers. And listen, I owe publicly Jalen Hurts an apology. I was probably one this year who's been the hardest on him. I'll go back a couple weeks ago when I said the passing game's not good enough right now, and I don't think it's going to get better. All he's done since then is have his 2 best games of the year on the 2 biggest stages that the game has been on. The NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. He was sensational last night.
So we don't like that was the main point I wanted to hear is that Dan was even saying, and by the way, we'll talk about Dan Orlovsky later, phenomenal guy. That was one of our favorite interactions of the week. But what he's saying, and we can go back for Jalen Hurts to college. Before we got on the show, guys, Jalen Hurts got benched in the national championship for Tua.
Yep.
Transferred to Oklahoma to try to reinvent himself, does. Then sits behind Carson Wentz and then emerges to be the starter And then everyone had doubts about him trying to be able to lead Philly. And in 1 year, they traded for A.J. Brown. They go to the Super Bowl. He has an unbelievable performance. He's now, and Dan Orlovsky, shout out to him for this stat, there's 2 quarterbacks in Super Bowl history that have had 2 offenses or teams put up 35 or more points. Joe Montana, 4, and it took 4 times. And Jalen Hurts, in his 2 times in the Super Bowl, has put up 35. He was sensational against the Chiefs 2 years ago. He was sensational last night. And I think it's just given the man his due. I mean, look, I agree with Dan. There was at times earlier this year, fair to say, like you're like, this passing game, it does go up and down. They got studs. Why aren't they playing better? Well, Saquon Barkley's pretty damn good. Like, give him the ball, and your passing game isn't going to be as counted upon. But what I love with Jalen is he never fell off. He never got down on himself. And you could hear people criticizing him. He never took the bait. He just was unwavered and then said, all right, cool. He hears it. Mm-hmm. But then he hears it. And all he's done, in my opinion, guys, for Jalen, I don't know who wants to go next, maybe Brad. To me, Jalen Hurts is just a bona fide leader. And at the end of the day, the dude's just a bona fide winner. And whether you think he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback, that's up for debate. But no doubt he deserves the respect, because now Philadelphia, as long as Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, they're going to be in contention because he brings that to that team.
I would agree, but I think that I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts, and I know it's going to come out this way. But if there was if you could give the MVP to the entire defense of the Philadelphia Eagles, that's who would have won the MVP, in my opinion.
For sure. They were
Jalen
fantastic.
Hurts had an incredible game, almost 300 yards, and so like he did what he needed to do to win. That defense was absolutely insane. I actually was tossing around in my mind, like, who on the defense could have actually gotten the MVP had it not been Jalen Hurts? Probably would have been DeJean. Yeah. If I had a vote in it, it would have been him. But that defense was just absolutely monstrous. Crazy. Remind me of a 2000 Ravens defense type of Super Bowl.
Yeah, one of the best defensive performances ever in the Super Bowl.
Was it 6 sacks that they had?
Six.
Most of his entire career, not just playoffs, his whole career.
That was wild.
Last time this happened to the Chiefs, they replaced their entire offensive line. Not saying it's going to happen this year, but
here's my thing though, and we've been talking about this all season. I've obviously, because I have no filter and just talk about how much the Chiefs have been frauds all year long, and now I finally got proven right in the Super Bowl. Their rushing attack,
really bad,
non-existent, and it's been non-existent all year. So like they were one-dimensional. Their defense was okay, and most of the time they haven't really played anybody that was worth a damn until they obviously played the Bills, got to the Super Bowl. But my point is that really good coaching got them there this year. They just didn't have the talent that Philadelphia had, and one of the big reasons why they lost.
Well, and I think also the Chiefs' defense was still fine. Like, they took a step back from what it was last season, but they were still okay. But even with the receivers, once Rashee Rice went down, like, to me, that was it, because DeAndre Hopkins is not. We can be honest about it. He's not the DeAndre Hopkins we saw in Houston. No. Marquise Brown missed most of the season and didn't really make a huge impact. I mean, he was okay in the postseason, and then. Other than that, it's guys
Xavier Worthy was the
guy.
Dude,
widest 157 and 8 catches.
He's going to be he and Rice together are going to be a problem.
I agree. I think also one thing I want to say, it's hard for me to say that the Chiefs are frauds from going to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight time or whatever. I have a hard time saying that. But for the whole point of what I mentioned earlier, it felt like
you didn't.
No, but I did say that sorry, it was brought up earlier that everyone has been saying like, oh, well, the Chiefs aren't as good. But the problem was people said that and they kept winning. And this was the first time. Philly was the first team that actually we went, hey, they're better. And they actually played like they were better. Like, go to Buffalo. I thought Buffalo could have been in Kansas City, but they didn't. Baltimore, I felt, was the better team this year, but they didn't beat Kansas City. And you could say it was all these things. And I bet a lot of teams are saying that about the Chiefs, but they won. The Philly was the first team that said, no, we are the better team. Our coach, we're going to out-coach, we're going to outplay, we're going to punch him in the mouth, and they just punched him in the mouth. That was the worst game I think I've seen the Chiefs play besides that Super Bowl against the Bucs. But I'd say this was worse. This was way worse.
100%.
So,
okay. Start connecting the dots though, right? worst scoring offense of the season outside of what? The Panthers and the Giants. Correct?
Well, for the not scoring 30 points, I don't know where they finished on the points per game. Sorry, I'm at point here for you right now. Points per game.
No rushing attack, right?
But I will say they committed at least to the run during the season, and they relied on their defense.
Yeah, but it was like Kareem Hunt scoring from 5 yards out every time.
They just didn't perform
because they had to kick Joe Tooney out to left tackle, and like their offensive line was a mess. Juwan Taylor was not as good this year and had the penalties. Like, you know, exactly.
Their one-score games this season included teams like the Panthers.
I agree with you. I'm saying I think that was the point and that's what's frustrating if you're an AFC team outside, because the other conversation that was had, people were going, well, the Ravens could have matched up better in this game or Buffalo. But I think Philly.
If the Eagles played the way they played, yesterday,
they're beating everybody.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking. I don't. That defensive line was just on a mission. I think the Ravens would have struggled still.
They would have struggled, but I think it would have been way closer than this.
It would have been closer, yes.
Because look, they lost to the Eagles this year, but it was because of 3 missed field goals by Justin Tucker.
Yeah,
they would have won the game otherwise.
I mean, lining up against Derrick Henry and Lamar versus Mahomes and Pacheco.
Yeah, talk about
Mahomes
slugfest.
Mahomes and Hunt. But yeah, I just think with the way that the Eagles defensive line is built, the way these elite quarterbacks nowadays, they are such blitz beaters. Like if you blitz guys like Mahomes and Allen and Lamar and everybody, they will beat that. The way that you assure a dominant performance like this is if you just rush 4, you can drop everybody else back. And then when guys win in half a second and Mahomes is already scrambling for his life, they have offensive linemen crashing into Mahomes. Like, that's just disaster.
You know, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because did you guys see the rant from Tom Brady about like how quarterbacks in today's day and age just don't know how to read defenses?
Oh, that was on the
when he was talking. He said my head internet speed.
Yeah,
he was like, fastest of anyone ever.
So what he was ranting about, and this was before the game yesterday, was exactly what Patrick Mahomes was doing. Like it seemed like Tom Brady talked about how he would go up to the line and know exactly who was going to be open with the defenses there. And this isn't an indictment on Patrick Mahomes, because all the quarterbacks do it this way. Whereas they 1, 2, 3, 4 reads, nobody's open, and then they start improvising instantly. Whereas all the improvising on Tom Brady or Peyton Manning back, not that long ago, was done before the snap. And I think that, a lot of that just had to do with, studying film. And we talked to Ed Reed a little bit, and we'll get into that conversation a little bit. He was kind of saying along the lines of the same thing, that just not done the way that it used to be.
Well, what Ed said in that part, which we got more reasons outside of football with Ed, and Ed was saying, he goes, any quarterback that gets hit, they get rattled, because he brought up Lamar and the Buffalo game, right?
Yeah.
So when a quarterback's going to get hit and they get rushed, just subconsciously, you're going to be a little bit more on edge. That was the first time that I can remember with Patrick Mahomes where you sat there, and I'd say for the Chiefs in general, that Patrick was not that he would ever admit, but it looked perceived. He was rattled early on, and like it could not recover. And it was the first time I've ever seen a Chiefs team where in the past we were like, they're going to find a way to come back. Like, I looked at them and their facial expressions, like they had the confidence was gone. They were just like, that was the first time I've watched the Chiefs team being like, damn, like it's in their eyes. You can see that they're like, we're screwed.
Well, and to that point, it's like, I remember on the broadcast, they're like, oh, Mahomes has been down by 10 and all these Super Bowls, and they're, here it comes. Now I saw a bunch of posts on social media. Those like, okay, Chiefs are down 10. Now the game can start. Yep. And I was like, it does not feel that way. And when Mahomes is getting pressured like that, when you're talking about reading first read, second read, third read, I'm not sure Mahomes could get to a second read before a defender was in his face. And that speeds up your clock. And so even if you're trying timing routes, like if you're trying out to the sideline and you have to wait for your guy to break that route open, if there's a guy in your face after a second, your receiver's only 3 steps or 4 steps down the field, not even breaking. And so you have to hold on to the ball, because if you throw that ball, it's an easy interception. And we saw Mahomes try as the game went on to force those throws in there, and they resulted in interceptions. They resulted in bad throws. And I mean, I can't even get over the performance. Like, it was unreal.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that there have been other defenses that Tom Brady has played against as well. We obviously talk about 28-3, but even the Seattle game, like that, the Legion of Boom was absolutely insane, and he was able to dissect And I think that that's the point I'm trying to make, is that even though he got rattled, he played up against an elite defense. He was able to figure it out because of, then that's why he's the greatest of all time. But, because he was able to dissect defenses like that. We just haven't really seen that type of level of play from anybody else. We might not ever. Anyways.
Well, why don't we
spitballing.
This GOAT conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just leads into the other part.
Hey, what a segue. Who would have thought about that?
Who would have thought about that? But the GOAT conversation, I think a lot of people now are silencing it, and people were joking that no one was happier last night than Tom Brady. And someone else made a point. I think it was Nick Foles, Big Dick Nick, tweeted out, Tom Brady might be the good luck charm for the Eagles. He's been there for both Super Bowl wins.
That was one Nick Foles.
Yeah, one as a player and one as a broadcaster. That was his tweet. And but the thing is now, Patrick Mahomes, the losses that he had, that's where the focus is going to be. So again, on First Take, they talked about it a little bit on where does this conversation stand. So we want to play a little clip, and then we're going to talk about it more on the other side.
Focus in on the Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes discussion. Stephen A., is the GOAT debate officially over?
It's officially over. There's nothing to talk about. It's officially.
Ain't nothing you can do.
No, I'm not saying there's nothing you can do,
Okay.
but we can look years down the road.
Yeah,
We're talking about right now in the moment.
Okay.
We ain't going to be talking about this right now.
Yeah.
We ain't going to be talking about this next year. Let me just throw out these stats for you to get right here. This is Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl 3-2 record, 65% completion, 265 yards, all right, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a passer rating of 86.9, okay, even though he's won 3 Super Bowl MVPs. You're talking about Tom Brady with a 7-3 record. His record speaks for itself, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, all of that stuff. We got to bring Joe Montana back into this conversation because of what we witnessed yesterday. Joe Montana, 4-0. 68% completions, 285.5 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, not a single interception ever, okay? A 127.8 passer rating, and he's also a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. So again, the fact that after this Super Bowl, it's one thing to be talking about Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. After this Super Bowl, we talk about Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Montana. Montana's been back added to the conversation, okay? You got to look at it from that standpoint. And then you got to look at the 2 losses. They were both blowouts.
Yes.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them in annihilation. Tampa Bay, for the same reason. They had Patrick Mahomes running for his life. We actually took track statistics for Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay because he had to run that much, okay? Yesterday, it wasn't even about that. It was about 4 dudes on the Philadelphia Eagles defense that bum rushed them and told to say, we got this. We don't blitz at all. We got them. Told them about it. Let them know from opening tap. And the brothers looked demoralized and hopeless inside of 5 minutes. It was that damn bad.
So, again, the conversation there, and I do think, and I love Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't take away anything from his legacy. And at the Chiefs, I mean, hell, I would argue now the Chiefs losing this game could help them for the long run. They can reshape their team, more motivation. But in the case for Tom Brady, I think it takes a step back and go like what Tom Brady and the Patriots did for all those years and the 1 year he did in Tampa was ridiculous.
Without question.
Redonkulous, dude. I mean, like.
So the losses, the way they lost, like Tom Brady didn't lose like that in the Super Bowl. And I think the conversation with Joe Montana also, I think Stephen A. don't always agree with what he says. He was dead on with this conversation.
Well, and also when you're looking at the performances overall, I would argue that Tom, when they've had to have those moments, like being down 28-3, their defense had to make plays late in the game, but that was Tom and that offense leading it back. Now, I know there was the Edelman catch was unbelievable, but Tom rose to the occasion on times. And in the 3 losses, the Pats had Buccaneers, they won that one. The Pats had a chance to win.
Yeah.
The undefeated season in 2007, they still got the ball back. Granted, 40 seconds. They had a chance. And then the Eagles loss was also one. And both Giants games came down to an opportunity.
Yeah.
So they're very competitive games. There was a play here and there. And I remember people dissecting it at the time going, Tom wasn't right on with that. But then you look back and you're like, well, in these moments, how hard it is to be perfect in the Super Bowl. And yet Tom Brady went to 10 and had a chance to win all 10.
Yeah.
And he won 7 of them. So, I think, fair to say, Zach, Patrick Mahomes, this was probably it's ironic because they still got to the Super Bowl, but this felt like the worst overall year that Patrick's had. And now
statistically it is.
It was, but I mean, but still, they still got to the Super Bowl. And moving forward, he's going to be the main reason they win or don't win, in my opinion, if they're going to get back to where they need to go.
Yeah, I mean, a Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom until a Phantom pulls up. You got the 2018 AFC Championship, Brady. 2020 Super Bowl, Brady. Then you have Brady in attendance for this. Just 3 of Mahomes' worst performances, all with Brady in attendance in some way. I'm telling you, it's one of those things where even in some of these games where the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, it was not because of Mahomes. You know, he hasn't been putting up these world-beating numbers. He hasn't been this all-world type of quarterback in these moments. Like we talked about, Tom Brady, 28-3, you never felt like he was out of it. It felt when they were down 10-0, this ball game was over. Like the Eagles, and it's not because of, hey, you know, Patrick Mahomes is getting no help, all this stuff. Mahomes did not play well. Yes, you can talk about the offensive line was atrocious and everything, and it was. But there were just passes he missed, you know, in just completely in rhythm, and he's missing Kelsey. He's off timing there, off timing to Hopkins. So there's a little behind him. All of a sudden, it's
a lot of throws in the dirt.
Yeah, so it felt like Mahomes was just obviously rattled the entire time. I like what Stephen A. said. Is there any, you know, this isn't saying like, oh, this is never going to be a conversation again. It's going to be. Mahomes goes and wins the next 2-3 Super Bowls. We're going to, you know, he's going to get it. But for this moment, everything, there's no more GOAT debate at this moment.
Yeah, Kev, I think it's appreciating greatness, you know, and when it is, and I, as much as people could hate the Patriots, I think people appreciated what Tom did. And you're right. You mentioned earlier about that conversation he had. It was with Colin Cowherd, right? I think.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And about him saying my superpower was being able to identify. Patrick is the better overall athlete, has the better arm talent, has everything that you would want. Tom Brady just perfected what he had to do to be excellent.
Yeah.
And he did. Not saying he was perfect every time. The Patriots defense always was consistent.
Yeah.
But the constant also was Brady was clutch, and he found a way even when it didn't go necessarily according to plan.
Yeah, especially in those big games. I mean, we all know, and we know this for multiple different reasons, but how hard it is to win just one Super Bowl. Like it is incredibly hard to do so. And so when a quarterback like Tom Brady can go and win 7 of them and just be as incredible as he was, the only conversation that could have been, or what could have catapulted Mahomes into that was, okay, what did Brady not do? He didn't win 3 straight. And so that was like the golden ticket to either get into that conversation or even surpass, as some people said that he would have if he had won 3 straight, because that's 4 Super Bowls for Mahomes, 3 of them being consecutive. But I agree with all of you guys of like, we never saw Brady lose that way twice. No. And look, it's not just a one-person sport, right? It's a team sport. Mahomes, I think the offensive line should get a ton of the blame here.
Yeah. No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
But
no doubt.
There were other things that Tom Brady had to overcome as well. And not that Mahomes hasn't overcome anything before, but this just felt like the spiraling of a game that when you talk about an all-time great, sure, all-time greats have bad games. All-time greats sometimes wilter when the moment is the brightest. But with Brady, we never saw that often.
Right. Well,
go ahead. Oh, no, my point I was going to say with those moments, and this is why, like, pressure matters. It happens. But really where this game got out of control was the 2 picks before the end of the half.
Yeah.
The pick 6 and then the one right before.
Was on the 14-yard line.
So but just keep this in mind. Those are both touchdowns. Pick 6 and another touchdown. That's 14 points right there.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs just punt, right? Who knows? Their defense wasn't playing that poorly. But then it's deflating when you're gifting them 14 points. It's 24-0. If they have to force the Eagles to go down, does it stay a 2-possession game going into the half?
Well,
and that's the point. Sorry, go ahead, Ken.
And I was just saying, what have we talked about this entire postseason? Turnovers are the difference. Every single time.
Every damn time.
And that play on the 14-yard line, like, that was the one for me. Because if the Chiefs score on that possession, I think it's a whole different ball game. Maybe the Chiefs get some momentum back, but it was already breaking, and that was their chance to get back in the game. Once that interception's thrown, that Chiefs defense has to come back out there. And I think we just saw the will of Mahomes break over the course of this game. Yeah. Not entirely his fault, but I just think he didn't trust his offensive line. And when you don't trust your offensive line, your clock is sped up. You tend to take more risks because you feel like you have to make up for more. And I think that was just the encapsulation of everything that happened in this game.
The dam broke.
I think I thought what Stephen A. said about the Joe Montana conversation, bringing him back into that conversation, was a good one. Am I going to say that, he is greater than Tom Brady? I think that they just were playing in two different eras. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's fair when you have LT that can just destroy games and the rules are different. I just think that those conversations should be separate. But comparing Patrick Mahomes' career with Joe Montana and having the three of them in that conversation, I thought was a good conversation to have, because Joe Montana he's 4-0 in a Super Bowl. Didn't throw one pick, 11 touchdowns. And we're seeing that there's a lot of imperfections with these Super Bowl wins from Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I thought that was just a very interesting thought.
Go ahead.
I just have a quick question for you guys. Does yesterday impact how you view this 3-year run for the Kansas City Chiefs?
No, not at all.
No.
It changed how I look at it.
Really?
In
the
what way?
Sole reason of I thought if they just in the fact of, because if they get that three-peat, they're the first team in NFL history to ever three-peat. They're by themselves in dynasties. They are by themselves. I even thought, okay, if they lose last minute, it's a good game, whatever. They're still one of the greatest teams. They just fell short. It doesn't feel like a team that was going for a three-peat because of all the questions all year. It felt like, they just barely snuck by bad teams. They barely did this. Are they still in that dynasty aspect? Without a doubt. But I'm no longer viewing them as this is the greatest run ever, because it's tough to just say that after you watch a team get completely manhandled like that on the biggest stage, for me to say, hey, this is up there with the greatest team.
What I'll say about that quickly is, I think that this was the biggest swing that we could have imagined based off of where they could have been versus where they
I think that's kind of what I was saying is it's because of the fact that if they win that game, that's the greatest 3-year run in NFL history. You can't argue it. That's the greatest 3-year run in NFL history. Now, all of a sudden, you're questioning, you're like, wow, that team really wasn't that great this year. And that's the sour taste that's going to be left in people's mouths. It's not going to be, hey, Mahomes only lost one game when starting this year, 15-1 before they kind of gave up last week. And now you're going to be thinking about, damn, the Eagles manhandled that team. They just dominated.
Well, moving forward in the years to come, look, the AFC West is only getting better. And the AFC in general is getting better. So I'm not saying the Chiefs aren't going to make it back to the Super Bowl, but if they were going to win one, and this would have been the year to really solidify them with that three-peat as a dynasty, as you were saying. But it could be a lot of factors moving forward. There's a lot of other good quarterbacks, a lot of other good teams. The Chiefs might be challenged moving forward, getting back to the Super Bowl.
I'll just say this, and Nick, and I see your conversation about, the initial thing, because I wanted to just touch on these, because you said initially, until Mahomes doesn't make at least the AFC Championship game, he's the GOAT. But to take out the last part there, when Mahomes has started, since he's been the starter, they've gone to the AFC Championship game. Yeah. They have failed to never reach it. So when they make the playoffs, they're playing one game to go to the Super Bowl every single year. Yeah. And the only time that they haven't gone to the Super Bowl, they lost to Joe Burrow in overtime, and the Bengals defense played well in the second half. And then it was Tom Brady also in overtime. So I am all about that Mahomes. That's why I'm not changing my opinion about the Chiefs. This is more so about the appreciation for Tom Brady. And I know you said later on, what about Tom Brady's 10-year Super Bowl drought? Well, then Tom Brady and the Pats then went on a 10-year run of making the AFC Championship game, or 9-year run. From 2012 to 2019, the Patriots were in the AFC Championship game every single year.
So 2018.
Well, no, 2019 season, yeah. So it's 2011 season, 2012, whatever it could be. Anyway, tomato here. The point being, also, we're expecting that Mahomes is going to do that from age 30-something to 40. I think that's the thing I want to point this out. Tom's been to 14 championship games.
Yeah.
Mahomes now at 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's on pace for that.
Oh, yeah.
But until you continue to do that, Patrick goes back and wins the Super Bowl next year. We're going to start having a little bit more of that conversation.
This is also
again.
a very what have you done for me now lately league, and we're
No
less
doubt.
than 24
No
hours
doubt.
removed from the worst performance we've ever seen. I'm sure in 6 months we'll be right back here talking about Mahomes in a much better light than we are, and the Chiefs in a much better light than we are. But I just think it's a super disappointing end that you could have foretold if you watched the Chiefs this season.
I just think that I would be surprised. The AFC West division wise is up for grabs next season.
Well, I'm interested. Let me ask everybody this question because I think it's an interesting conversation. Did this game signal that maybe this is the beginning of the changing of the guard?
I think so. I think so. The Broncos were one of the worst teams last year and were flipped around. The Chargers were also one of the worst teams last year. Were flipped around. I just don't think that it's going to be as an easy of a path to the playoffs for the Chiefs as it has been because the AFC West has been so bad.
I'm just going to argue with this. The Chiefs, to me, until they are not going to the Super Bowl, until they are knocked out before, I'm going to give them the benefit because they keep doing it. Now, could this be it? Could you be But I think right now with how it ended, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to bounce back with almost a career year. I feel having Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and see what happens with Kelsey. I think they're going to be so pissed off offensively. They might not be as good defensively, but offensively, I think Patrick's going to be on a vengeance tour.
They need a run game if that's going to happen.
But I think Pacheco is going to be healthy, and I think that they're going to be okay. My bigger thing is here we are waiting for the demise of the Chiefs, and it just hasn't happened. So that's why I'm giving them the benefit until Buffalo, Baltimore, or Cincy, those are the three other contenders, or the Chargers, until they actually do the damn thing, I can't do that yet. I can't. Well, they've been to four. Is it 5 Super Bowls for Mahomes he's been to?
Yeah.
5. He's been to
the
5 Super Bowls in 7 years, and the other 2 years were Joe Burrow and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, in overtime. No, I can't. I don't think it's a change. I think the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs for. I don't know if I can trust any other team in that division. I just see every year I feel like we have the same conversation.
But we've never, again, in Patrick Mahomes' career, the AFC West has been a weak division. And I don't think it's going to be the case moving forward, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the case. I think it's going to be close. I don't think they run away with it like usual, but I got to see one of them dethrone him.
They're not going 15-2 next year.
I think a team has to prove, in the AFC at least, that they can consistently beat Kansas City. But I think that maybe moving forward, it's going to be closer in that regard, where we see not a complete shift year 1 or year 2, but where we see maybe a team like Buffalo, Baltimore, if Cincinnati improves their defense, Brad mentioning teams like the Chargers and the Broncos, I feel like it's not just going to be, okay, the Chiefs, they are the AFC. I feel like we're going to have more of a reasonable, stack in the standings where maybe the Chiefs are the 2 or the 3 seed more consistently than they are the 1 seed moving forward. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you, okay, the Chiefs are done. That to me is an overreaction.
I'm very glad Josh Jacobs didn't go because there was rumors. I saw that, Nick, that the Chiefs wanted Josh Jacobs, and good Lord, if they had him.
Yeah.
And if Genty falls, I'm telling everyone this, that dude cannot go to if they allow a really good player. Genty needs to go like where Gibbs
the only
went, middle
guy,
of the round.
The guy
Do not.
I'm worried about is Marion Hampton.
Please,
this is a great running back class.
Yeah, that's
Just
great running back
Marion
class.
Hampton, if he falls
They're
for them,
they're gonna get
he's
their,
a Jahmyr Gibbs type, and that's what scares
They're gonna
me.
get their Clyde Edwards-Helaire redemption because they screwed that up really badly. People knew it when they drafted him. They should have taken Taylor or Dobbins, and I think that they're gonna get their I don't think they're gonna take a first-round running back, but I could see them getting a guy in the second that
I think
is their
they'll
guy
take
for the next 10 years.
It's going to be terrifying, but we'll see. But I'll tell you what, guys, Eagles, they finally got over the hump. And I think that other part of it if a quarterback loses their first time, they've never won again or gotten back to it. That was the other thing with Jalen Hurts or the Eagles. Well, they got back there and they won it. And now that's a lot of question marks are going to have to be had. But for every other team, it's going to be all right. How do you overthrow the Chiefs in the AFC? The AFC is loaded, Brad. You're right. No doubt about it. So we're going to find out. And we'll talk a lot more football as we get closer. There's free agencies in a month. Shirts and pants, man.
Yeah.
Literally a month from today.
So we'll get into that. But Actually, then let's go by the fun side here with the Super Bowl. Before we get into our week, let's take a ride on our Adams Jeep of Maryland to the Super Bowl halftime show here. And Adams Jeep of Maryland here, by the way, are you riding your headphones?
Oh, yeah. 10-2.
That's a little terrifying.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if I love that. How about over and under 7 seconds for under one Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Oh, it says there's too many. I've shared too many videos at once, so it's not going to pop up. But it popped up. Just kidding.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, there it is. Adams Jeep of Maryland up there. Hey, look, Adams Jeep of Maryland and we're looking for help for the community, men, for men, women, and children. I know spring training starting this week, but it's still pretty damn cold up here. We got weather coming in, and they are trying to give back to the community with a coat drive. But here's how it works, actually. So if you're in the market for a car, listen up. They are discounting 11 selected 2023 Jeep Wranglers to start. That's nice. But now they're saying, hey, you come in and bring a coat that's in good use, could be brand new, just has to be usable, though. They're going to take $150 off as an additional discount. And you want to know how many coats you're allowed to give away? 30. So 30 times 150, Kevin, do the math. $4,500 on top of the discount of those 11 selected vehicles. So if you're looking to do some good and you're looking for a car, this is the deal you're looking for. So go to adamsjeepofmaryland.com or go visit them. Tell Chuck and Matt we say hello. And hell, if you say that you love the show and Rocco sucks, they might add another $1,000 in gas money with purchase of those vehicles. So Adams Jeep of Maryland, we appreciate you guys. Check out adamsjeepofmaryland.com. Brad, I don't know which polls you've had going.
Just one so far.
And was that around the Super Bowl or was that around something else?
Halftime show.
Talk to us.
It's been very controversial, as a lot of people know. Last night's halftime show with Kendrick Lamar. People either loved it or they hated it, and you could make the argument that it had a lot to do with age. But the thing is, my solid opinion on this is that if you're going to have a halftime show to the world, it should probably cast a wide net of a demographic that's going to be watching it. So an artist that everybody knows and everybody listens to, or has at least heard of, should be in the halftime show. So with that being said, I actually went out and asked the good people of the Ryan Ripken Show, the worst halftime show of all time. I put Kendrick Lamar in there. The Indiana Jones. Do you guys remember this? There's an Indiana Jones halftime show in 1995. It wasn't even like a music halftime show. Disney was trying to promote a new ride down in Disney World.
Wow.
You have to look this up.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So Indiana Jones, Beyonce Blackout Bowl was on there. Thought that was a good one to put on. And then Coldplay. So right now, as it stands, Kendrick Lamar and Coldplay are tied. 30% is the worst halftime show of all time. Indiana Jones and Beyonce are down there.
Well, so
18%.
by the way, for Indiana Jones, Kevin wasn't born yet. Zach
was
not born.
Yes.
No.
I was 2, so I can't really speak on watching that one.
I barely remember that, to be fair. I was 9.
Okay, so to be fair, I understand what you're saying there. Look, I'll just start off with this. Everyone has a different appreciation of what it's going to be, but to your argument, it's going, all right, for Kendrick, he had more messaging behind it, and you have to be into his music. Like, I like Kendrick's music. I do. The show yesterday seemed like there was some other motives, and then the bigger motive was also with shots at Drake. Left and right, and I know that there's some other parts behind it.
That's his shtick, though. Like that's how everybody knows Kendrick Lamar, generally speaking, because of the beef that he had with.
Oh, I would argue that. I would argue his Mad City album. There, yeah. I was a freshman. I was a freshman in college, and Shirts and Pants. Man, I could go through those songs. Money Trees.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar's 22 Grammys.
Okay. But my thing is for relevancy's sake, that's what people know him for right now. Correct?
Yeah. Well, so
right now, yes.
I would
that's
say
a big
it is
thing
very.
Right now.
It was a very and I know we talked about this before. It was depending on if you understood what he was doing, because like pretty much the entire halftime show. One, I love the Samuel L. Jackson, like just
that was good. Good touch.
moderating the whole thing, and like the whole thing was about like, hey Kendrick, remember, like they told you not to play that song, like they're gonna sue you, and Kendrick's like, yeah, they love to sue. He's like, we'll think about it, and like if you understood, like you said, Brad, if you were in that niche of you knew what was happening,
Right.
why. That's why I thought, and me and Kevin talked about this, thought the first half was kind of boring. I was like, okay, let's get to the part that everyone's waiting for. But once he started toying with Drake, because I understood what he was doing, that's when I thought it was hilarious. But if you had no clue about the beef or why them playing that song is relevant or something, then it was not a good halftime
And I
show.
think that was the point that Brad's trying to make.
Yeah.
Then is if you don't know what was
it's
happening
50-50.
or you don't know what Kendrick was trying to do with Drake or other messaging, then you're sitting there going,
like
I don't know.
Serena Williams.
I don't know what to do with my hands. If you saw Serena, I did a discount double check on that. I'm like, timeout. And then yes.
Well, and I think to the point, and maybe Brad, this is part of what you're trying to say, is that for the halftime show, it just felt like the entire thing was leading up to that one moment. And it feels like a halftime show should be more, I guess, for lack of a better term, well-rounded.
Yes.
Of like, if he had played Mad City or more off of
recognizable
that or
song.
Like, I just think the beginning, middle of it was like, okay, is this really a song you can get up and like jam to?
No.
Kendrick has great, like, I'm a Kendrick guy. Like, I like Kendrick's music, but it's like, if you are using the halftime show to get to the one moment, that's going to not appeal to an audience that doesn't know what's going on with it.
Here's what would have been a better halftime show in New Orleans. If you wanted to stick with hip hop, it should have been Lil Wayne.
Oh, if we're arguing if it should have been Lil Wayne, I without a doubt agree. It should have been
He's
Lil Wayne.
from New Orleans. Everybody
time.
knows his music. That's my point.
That would have been very interesting.
Lil Wayne would have rocked that place. I will say though, the
and the collaborations with Lil Wayne would have been sick.
Yeah,
like
that's the other thing is like Kendrick. I agree. It's got to be the halftime show. At times, it needs to be everything.
Yeah,
like it needs to be like. It just felt like this was very much like Kendrick trying. He was like, okay, I have the halftime show for me to drop the mic on Drake. Like the whole thing was building up to drop the mic and it go turn the TV off and it says game over. Like it was all leading up to that. So like we've said, if you knew what was happening, you were like, oh, this is hilarious.
And I also think that like the end did save it for me, where it's like, okay, we got to the moment and now that the moment happened.
Because
like,
you knew what was going on.
Yes, but because like I'm like, okay, this is what we're waiting for. Is it going to happen? Yes, it's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. He's teasing it for like 5 minutes. Is it going to happen? And then it happened, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like that was probably worth it. But to some people who didn't know what was going on, they might just be sitting there and they're like, what did I just watch?
Yeah,
I would have. I loved seeing the collaborations of more and more people coming out because you never know who it is, and that's why I was going to say. I would only say when you brought up the lights going out. That would have been the worst one for me if the Ravens had lost. just for the Ravens losing the game. Nothing to do with Beyonce. When Destiny's Child came out, by the way, because I'm a huge
I was there. It was
Destiny's
awesome,
Child guy. Like, I was pumped.
Oh, yeah.
But if the Ravens had lost that game with the power outage, then I'd be like, you know what? No, we're done.
The NFL almost had to make that call again this time to prevent the blowout in New Orleans.
Show of hands, was everyone thinking that there was something that could have happened? It felt like it was going to happen. And I didn't miss, Kendrick didn't sing Money Trees, did he?
No, he didn't.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I love that song. I love that album, but you're right. And I also laughed that people were like, what if Drake comes out to Poetic Justice?
Well, because
I would have laughed.
Everyone was saying, because there was the thing, Kendrick has a surprise at the Super Bowl, and everyone's like, he's going to bring Drake out and like make up with him on the stage or something. And no one knew what it was. I think the surprise was Serena, probably, right? That was what
that had to be.
Because no one could put their finger on what it was.
There was one other that he collabs with the singer.
SZA.
And like, she was great. I was just, we had a different thought. And Serena, though, was like it was such a quick thing where you're like, oh, wait, I recognize her. That can't be, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, she was only shown for like 5 seconds or 30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, shirts and pants, man. But you know what? It's always a debate. It's always a debate for the Super Bowl time, baby.
Hey, best Super Bowl of all time. Anybody?
Best Super Bowl halftime show or Super Bowl halftime show?
Prince.
Oh God, it's a hard one to argue.
My mom said Prince in the Rain. She was there.
I mean, I
can ask Kelly about it.
This is what I'm talking about, right? Like Prince appeals to the older crowd, appealed to the younger crowd. Covered all the bases.
Well, I think also the performance, the people that were
But
there
yes, the
said
performance.
that him performing Purple Rain in the rain.
Yeah.
They're like, ho, ho,
With the
baby.
guitar and like, oh my
Oh,
God, all that shit. That show, yes, that's probably the top 3.
Give me Katy Perry with the shark.
No, fuck
was-
that show.
All right, I'll get. I gotta say, and I don't know if
I need
this
to
is
get in that.
because of like where I was and like I was just with a massive like group of friends. It was like one of my last years in college. The Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and all of them.
That was a great
that was a
one.
great
Yeah.
show.
But it was
Great
because
one.
of what we were talking about. They appealed to everyone. They brought out people that everyone knows that people. So it
Yes.
appealed
And
to
it was
everyone.
different types.
And it was the collaborate.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what, okay. I think fair to say. I think that's what I would have wanted to see more of that.
If
So-
Kendrick brought out more people that, like you said, Brad, that everyone knew songs
Yes.
to, that could have been, and then ended it with,
Yeah.
hey,
Thank
now
you.
I'm going
That
to do
would
the
have been
mic
perfect.
drop. Then we would have been talking about, yes, this is one of the greatest.
100%. And
Yeah.
so another one for me, I think one of the greatest ones of all time. Another collaborative. That's how it should be. It should be a bunch of collabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a bunch of collabs. It was You Were Just Born. But it was
Janet Jackson.
Steven Tyler. No, Steven Tyler. It was Aerosmith, NSYNC, Britney Spears. They were all out there. That was a phenomenal one too.
That was a great collaboration, and the performers. They're really
and Run
really,
DMC. Run DMC was out there too.
They're really good performers.
But that was a perfect example of newer music, younger people, and then collaborating them with the older crowd. That's how halftime shows should be done.
So wait, Brad, did you not like the Beyonce one? Is that why it's on there?
No, I love the Beyonce one, but a lot of people like are the power went out. Like, I mean, what,
Yeah, I
guess.
think more in Baltimore. That's the only reason we look down on the Beyonce
I thought that one was great.
Oh
Like,
no, it was fantastic.
think,
But
yeah,
the
the
power
power
went out, and then the
outage
49ers
is-
made a comeback. So now,
Right.
like,
Well, I'm thinking
sorry,
if
D.
they had won, like Ryan said, then we're talking about that as the worst.
And Tori, it was funny when we're seeing Tori down there. That was the one thing for him. What part are you stressed about? All of it. All of it. Because we couldn't stop them. I'm going home. You're not trying to go there. You're trying to stay positive. He's like, no, I went there. I thought the game was over. Like, I thought we're not going to have enough time. And we did it. Right. It was on everyone's minds. But the Super Bowl halftime show, it's always going to be up for debate. Always is. It's a good time. And we thoroughly.
Michael Jackson was a good one too.
Yeah. See, I was too young for that one. I still like moments that not saying the performance, but like Lady Gaga flying in from the stadium top was wild.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you had to like the performance, but I like to have those moments where I look back and I'm like, damn, that was crazy. Michael Jackson, I wish I was, really could. I forget what year that was. I might have not been born yet, but Michael Jackson,
you were real little.
real little, but like those are the ones. Prince, it was like, damn, man, like it hits you with the
Yeah.
All right,
now I
guys.
need one of those Katy Perry shark costumes.
Oh, you need one.
That's
for
what I'm
sure.
saying. I'm saying I need one.
Left shark.
Notice how nobody argued that
Where-
Coldplay should not have been on that list.
It was.
Where were we just talking
Wasn't
about the-
Beyonce also at that Super Bowl?
At the Coldplay one?
The Super Bowl 50.
Well-
They brought out Beyonce and Bruno, and then they both also performed individually. Right? Am I losing my mind? I swear that Beyonce and Bruno Mars were both
Yeah,
there.
but
and
Beyonce.
they both.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the
Yep.
Coldplay one. Yeah.
Yep.
But
That
then
was
even you can talk about like
But
the
didn't Bruno have one by himself as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Broncos Seahawks one.
I like that one.
But then even for the one last year, like, I'm like when Usher brought out Alicia Keys, like everyone
Yeah.
went crazy
Yeah.
when that happened, right? So
That was
that's
a
like
great
what we're
show.
talking. Yeah, we're talking about like the collabs and stuff.
J-Lo and Hips Don't Lie. What the hell's her name?
Shakira.
Shakira. That was a great show.
Shakira.
That was a great show.
Shakira.
Whew. They don't lie.
Who do you Santa Clara? Do you have any early guesses on who it could be next year?
It's gonna be us.
Yeah. Sorry to break it to you
Yeah.
guys. We will be.
I'll tell you, it's
Well,
not going to
now you guys made the collab connections in New Orleans. We can bring people out for
Oh my
the
God.
halftime show.
Hey, listen,
Shakira. Oh, I'm going to have to go listen to that.
Seal and I had a moment.
Maybe.
Just saying.
Hey, before we should we talk a little bit about the week now?
I think
that's
you
what we
have
gotta
to.
do.
You see how I keep tossing these segues your way?
I know. Hey,
You're
we
welcome.
hey, before though, hydration break for a second, guys.
Oh. That was good.
That is really fucking good.
That was delayed for Kevin, but that was
Okay, I had to really get into it.
I love this thing. Jesus.
These are good. So, yeah.
They're real good.
This is flavorful.
Flavorful is right. But if you go to 10, too much flavor.
Too much.
Yes, do not go to
too
10.
much.
That is.
Me and Kevin
yeah,
tried
no.
it. It was
10 is not for the week.
Zach and I did the experiment for the people. Do not do it.
Do not. But hey, Circle is funny because they had the commercial pop out.
Yeah.
And before the commercial, they sent us all this stuff, and then they sent us more stuff. So that's why we're like, hey, and maybe we'll be doing more with them.
Yeah.
But
maybe we talk to some people.
But we got to stay hydrated at the end of the day, man. I'll tell you what, we were not staying hydrated enough down in New Orleans.
No.
So, Circle, thank you for a little hydration station. All right, let's talk about this week. It was phenomenal overall.
Oh, yeah.
For so many different reasons. And I know,
Nolans, the Super Bowl should be in Nolans every year, period.
Yeah.
like, and also convenience. So the convention center and then where the media party was,
Yeah.
and Bourbon Street, like everything was close. Zach, Brad, and I got, had some close quarters of time, and my sister Rach. You'll see her in some of these videos we're going to post. But
Yep.
where do we even start? I think one of the first nights when we were there, also, by the way, because I forgot to show this video at the time, but like talk about celebrating Saquon shotgunning. I just want to show that video real quickly. Like, that's what it felt like in New Orleans left and right. Now they just won the Super Bowl. And also that had to have been 2 seconds. We had that clocked.
Yeah, I'm taking the under on that.
Yeah.
That you know what that is? That's a guy who went to Penn State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are. And you know what?
Yeah, that's a guy who went to Penn State.
Because Rocco and Nick, it just means more in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It really does.
Yeah.
They've won the last 2 national championships. I'm just saying. I think it's talk about changing into the guard.
Yeah.
Might be in the Big Ten. But back to our week here. It was a blast from the beginning. I think, Zach, I'm going to pull up the media row or the media party clip. I got it right here. Like, we're walking in. This was our first night. You and I were there, Zach.
Yeah.
Place is bumping. That place is packed. That's when we got a picture with the gator.
Yeah.
We both were against getting the picture with the snake.
Yeah. There was no chance I was going to picture with that snake. I don't care if it was like asleep or whatever. No chance.
Do you have the photos we can pull up from the gator?
Yeah, let me.
Snakes are fun.
Let me.
You wouldn't hold snake?
There's like six of them.
Brad, there was there's a difference. There was, okay, I am like, hey, there were a few snakes where it's like, hey, like it fits your arm, you hold it. But the one that they wanted pictures with was it wrapped around you.
Oh, yeah.
It was bigger than Kevin.
Yes.
I would have done that.
Oh,
I would have had to do it for the
but
content.
there's no
I?
chance.
Kevin, you would have been strangled by it. Just from your size.
You see my eyes.
That kind of
You know
stuff
what's
doesn't
crazy?
bother.
If it started like constricting on
Oh.
Kevin, immediately I would be like, someone help him. I got to film. So I'm like, we're leaving here with something.
It was, that was even the other video of like the marching band that came in for that when I was getting some sort of event. The food was good, Zach. We hit like 9 or
Food was
10 of the
fantastic.
places. There was 30 things I'm standing up because my ass is sweating right now.
All right.
Thanks,
And that
Brad.
might just be because I'm trying to
Just
get
move
rid of
your
some
mic.
toxins. I'm trying to get rid of some toxins.
There you
here.
go. There you go.
But the media party was really cool. It was like the opening night. And then Wednesday rolls in. Brad makes his way down. And there was no Rocco, no Kevin. Unfortunately, it was Brad, Zach, and I, and my sister and Wendy. Wendy. And J.O. So it was good seeing them. But gosh, I'm trying to look up in like almost chronological order of how things were. Do you have, Zach, that band coming in on media party?
The media part, yes. Let me.
If you can pull that up, because I want to do it within order. And yes, Alan, you can bet that we did Bourbon Street. That was
every night.
Yeah.
I do want on record real fast. the pasta that Rip was holding here was also fantastic.
That was good. That was the first thing we walked in, and there was shirts and pants. There's a band behind us.
Yeah, but we were very caught off guard.
It's like a raccoon got in the copier. That was kind of my response right there. I was like, "Oh my goodness, do you know what that? You know what that's from, Kevin?"
No.
Oh gosh, if anyone in the chat would know that. Oh, this is worse than when the raccoon got in the copier. Just catches you off guard. That was there. It was phenomenal. I mean, that was one moment. I think this was a representation. The other day we were on the live stream down there, and this will preface then our hand grenade situation. So hand grenades here. I think I actually
did. You bring it?
It's in the bag right there. Can you? Oh no, in the LL Bean bag, the white bag in the back.
Can we like recreate this at some point?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'd have to figure out how to freeze it, but yeah, you could put it on ice.
So
you could order it on ice or frozen. We chose the frozen.
Yeah,
route.
I would have done. Yeah. So they give you this every single time,
yes.
or do you do refills?
If you don't know,
you can get refills.
If you don't know what a hand grenade is, it's made with vodka, rum, gin, and melon liqueur, and it's frozen. Like
you can get an ice, but we went frozen.
You can get it on ice, but we got it frozen. Yeah,
it's a little treat, and we're like, oh my god, this is incredible.
So is it like a 1 per night drink, or do you just go back?
Okay, so like it depends on what kind of night you're wanting.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
There was
the deep questions.
Let's just say the sugar intake of it all makes you not feel.
So one of the nights on Wednesday night, actually, we said, hey, we're going to get all the New Orleans drinks. The hurricane, the monsoon.
Monsoon, yeah. My uncle suggested the monsoon, so we got that. And
no one told me the monsoon was 32 ounces.
That was
it was
a large
ridiculous.
drink.
That was ridiculous.
That was the hardest wake
It was
up.
very good.
Like we each only had 3 drinks that night. 3 total over a 4-hour period.
It was 3.
We had 3 drinks because we went from restaurant to then we went hurricane at the restaurant. We went hand grenade
or second,
and then we were like, hey, we want to go grab monsoon. And then remember they were closing because it was a Wednesday night. So then we went back just to the hotel. We had 3 drinks, and that was waking up the next day because of all the sugar. That was the worst.
I wasn't even that drunk.
No, that's the thing. It wasn't even like you're feeling atrocious. It was like
none of us were shit faced.
However, then the next night, Thursday, there's a little bit more. And mainly because also Zach's birthday was on Friday. Happy birthday, Zach.
Yeah, happy birthday.
So we were out after midnight. So we're like, oh well, we'll get a drink. So we
ran into Young
shots.
Gravy and we ran into
that was well after hours. Yeah, Young Gravy was there.
Yeah, Young Gravy and Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll was So we were at
that was at the end, the last stop.
It was, but we were at an incredible bar that like had there was a piano as the bar. The guy's playing the piano in the background. People are sitting around eating, drinking on the piano itself. I turn around and Jelly Roll is playing a private party literally on the patio of the bar that we're at. That was insane. There's so many insane moments about this trip. That was one of them.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, well, yeah, that's here.
Yeah.
That was also the same night, luckily for us. That's when we found out the horses.
Oh,
Zach almost got run over.
I almost got run over by a horse.
Where is it? There it is.
Yeah, there's the culprit right there.
Man.
If we could get
those are beautiful horses.
It was a beautiful. I kept telling. I would every time we would pass a horse, I would have to make it known which one was my favorite.
And that was a horse. Horse got a huge ass.
So
I mean,
they were letting some people like pet them.
Yeah,
you were allowed to like touch them, which was pretty cool too.
I did not go.
No, but there were people like actually petting these horses.
There was
also like the way they train these horses in that chaotic situation for them to just be so chill, unbelievable.
Super chill. It was there's another thing. There was a bar called Huge Ass Beers, not actually called just Huge Ass.
But there's a guy just holding up a sign that said Huge Ass,
and that had some great they had great music coming out of that bar, and people could just dance, Kevin, on the outside. There were people doing like the line dances. It wasn't the wobble for one of them, but it was a song like the wobble, and they were just dancing in the street. It was phenomenal. Zach's birthday night is when we had the Jello shots. The absinthe one.
Oh yeah.
Went to a place that was strictly an absinthe bar.
Yeah, that was.
Then we got the on our last go go around was the whole. We didn't just get the hand grenade. We also got
Gel shots.
Well, then I'm talking about like on our file because that was all beginning. Then we decided to get a little. People had to get out of the water.
That night I was. Oh yeah. So
we're getting there.
The absinthe was one of those things where I just went. Whoop.
Yeah,
I'm aware.
Yeah, I did not know people were doing
No,
I had enough
by people it was Brad.
It was
Yeah.
just, I didn't want any parts of that absinthe. I also was just housing water the whole day. I had a couple of drinks still, especially towards the end of the night, but like I was just not feeling myself. Maybe it's the old man in me, but I could not keep up with you all that night.
So this was like, just to give you guys an idea. Initially, we'll get to the attacks, but we had the hand grenades. So you're seeing like we'd have these, and they were. And he's got it's like a little devilish smile on this thing right there,
Like an alien.
and that's how it felt, Kevin. And that like I woke up the next day and I was hurting. And you saw that clip of me struggling. I'll play that clip, and you guys can hear the words out of my mouth. And this is.
I did have some gumbo.
We had hurricanes, of course, and the world famous hand grenades.
Yeah.
Too many of those.
We said no hand grenade
And
last night, and then we had hand grenade.
yes.
Like literally.
But whose fault is that, really? No. It was yours.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're the one who was like, "We're getting hand grenades."
Yeah. You're the one that purchased the hand grenades.
Yeah, that was my bad. That's on me.
You're going through it.
Oh, dude. Like, well, so that was Friday at Radio Row.
Yeah.
And we just were wrapping up. It was the end of the day.
That was Zach's
So-
birthday.
And it was actually Zach's birthday. And so, of course, then, Lord and behold, the reason why then we went right back to the well.
We promised ourselves we were not going to have hand grenades on Friday night.
And I couldn't help myself. We just.
I can just imagine you three going in there and looking at each other and being like, "Yeah, this is happening."
We stared
No,
at
we
the outside.
Stared at the outside.
You're staring at the place. And you're
Yeah.
like, are we-
The
we're-
green.
We
Goblin
couldn't walk
mask is
past it
calling you.
without stopping in there.
It was.
like legitimately, Kevin. And
There's
like,
some
you just-
voodoo magic in
and
there.
not even
We
it
were in
wasn't
New
even
Orleans
a green,
after
and it
all.
wasn't even a green like the green goblin mask staring at us. It was literally
A
this,
green.
Hey.
yeah.
No, it was this Eagles fan double fisting him, just doing this as
Yes,
he
that's
was
right.
just-
That's right.
he was just kind of half leaning out of the bar as he was. I don't know if he could really keep his balance, but he just kept doing this outside the bar.
It's also like doesn't help that you can just carry these things out in public around. You just walk around and still just keep sipping on them. That didn't help either.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, to give more context, then they had two things here. So this was actually on Friday night when we're like, we're not going to get another one, and then we're throwing the grenades up top, and there's a reason why Zach was not on the basketball team.
bold. I'll say it. The fade was bold. This is
bad.
so bad. I'm so sorry to everyone watching.
This is absolutely terrible.
Oh my god.
Look at that terror on his face.
Oh my god.
All right, we're up. Yeah.
First try. First try. Someone
First
clip
try.
that. Someone clip that.
First try, baby, and everyone were just like, "This is embarrassing for our group." Like Kevin would have done that better.
Oh, I would have been sinking that from 3-point range.
I
did
Boom.
sink. I was looking
Looking-
first shot.
Yeah.
Looking back,
Yeah, we were good.
Yeah.
looking back, the fade away, trying to draw the contact was probably a little bold to go.
Were you? You were just trying to Euro step, and you just
Well, I did,
absolutely.
He was practicing his Euro step on the horses in the street.
I literally
How he
went.
was
I
going,
went
"Oh."
too strong the first time, and then way too light the second time, and then I had to literally just stand next to it and kind of just give it up.
We do need a basketball hoop in here. We can just
I
roll.
keep saying
Awesome.
the Papa shot. We needed something.
We should add that, or do we add like that thing that the hand grenades go in? Do we just put that in like a?
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
Oh,
And we
there
could
we
do
go.
it right here and
We
just
should
bam.
do that. We should do that.
Oh my goodness! But again, these things, and then also on our flight after on Saturday, we're like, and
Oh
also all of us. What?
White Star, know you're out there. You're repping.
Which, by the way, I cannot rep White Star. because I do not have a hat.
Kevin, I'm getting everyone hats. We're gonna
I've been waiting on a hat for like.
We're gonna come.
How long have I known you? A year?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
no,
maybe not a year, like 6 months.
Maybe we should get some more Branded Bills hats. We got
those are sick.
Trey McBride was doing work with Branded Bills, and they just brought these puppies.
That's sick.
And it was incredible. Like they were great. And maybe we need to get more of those hats.
Yeah,
it's super comfortable. I was rocking this. I rocked the black hat in that video when I was a herding buckaroo. The other one, the other reason with that bar besides this was not the best part of this whole thing, Kevin.
That actually wasn't.
Really? It wasn't. Oh
God.
Kevin, you ever heard of a shark attack?
I have. They're not fun.
They're not. These are fun.
These are fun.
So to give you context, if you order it, they even says on it, we should take a picture of that.
Yeah.
It said it was whatever, $12, $13 shot or drink, a fun drink for the group or whatever it said.
Yeah.
And I saw someone else do it at the bar, and then my sister went to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, this is electric. We're getting this. So I said to the bartender, I said, hey, when she comes back, have it ready.
Poor Rachel.
Oh, God.
And my sister's going to need to get out of the water. So do you have that video, Brad? Can you pull that up?
Well, we have one of Zach.
Me. I don't think we have. Do we have the Rachel one?
I have it. I can pull it up, but.
Which should we show the Zach one first then?
Yeah, the Zach one was the better one, honestly.
Well, Rachel's is just more of her reaction. But we'll get Zach. This was the second time. This was Friday night when we said never again.
Yeah.
Or this was Thursday. Rachel, he's dying.
Rachel, what is this?
Oh my God! Happy look out!
It's happening.
Get out of the water!
That is awesome.
Get out of the water!
Get out of the water!
I honestly, then after that, it might have been Zach or Rachel. I was yelling like, "Medic! Everybody get out!"
I would have committed to the bit. I would have gotten on the ground and have Zach do like CPR, like push the chest.
I don't know if you want to go on that floor, but by all means. But
pushing on.
It was one of those moments there. It just was so much fun on that regard. It really was a cool sight to see. And then like our last day, we shout out M&T Bank. They had a M&T Bank House, had a event that we went to, and Ed Reed and Thurman Thomas were there. But I mean, hey, love those guys. They're great.
Yeah.
What really was still in the show is one, they had a great spread, great ambiance.
Oh my God. The food was insane. The food was insane.
No comment on the food. Absolutely unreal.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God.
And also I did say, and you're right, you called me out on this. I'm like, I'm not drinking again. I'm done.
We were on our way to this event, and Ryan was like, I'm not having any alcohol.
You know what?
And
in
the
his
first
defense, you literally walked in the door
Yes.
and they had 4 trays there, and they're like, pick one. And you're like,
espresso martini.
yeah.
And Ryan was like, don't mind if I do.
I went a little bit like Grinch face. And then,
Man.
but then I had water the rest of the event. Then Zach's like, they just kept handing me champagne. Meanwhile, Zach went to the bar and got a wine cup.
Great.
This is being misconstrued. They were out of champagne glasses, and the guy was like, can I just put it in this? I'm like, yeah, sure. Because the whole reason I had to go back for champagne is I got a second glass. And then we were talking, and I put it down and went down to talk to Brad about something. And I look over, and they just took it. Like, they just took it back. I was like, okay. So I had to go back. Then they gave me an actual, like, wine glass.
Oh, there you go. Look at you being sophisticated.
Here I was, Kevin, getting sparkling water, like, behaving now.
Yeah, being
And he's like,
responsible.
hey, we're out of the flutes, but I'm just going to put it in the glass. And it's almost like, tell me when. But it was like, you know what? I'll have you finish off the bottle. That's what we did. So we filled it all the way up.
That's what we call the Carroll County pour.
It really was. It was the Carroll County pour. But food was great. But honestly, the vibes were great here. I mean, look, this was me. I line there, but we were having a good time, Kevin. Yeah, damn, I look good. Deep Eddy vodka glasses were on point.
They were on point.
and they were great. But then what really started to get the show going,
these guys were incredible.
The marching band. Which
No, it was
one?
a jazz band.
The jazz band. Sorry, they were incredible. Do we have the first video of them walking in? Yeah, I got it.
It was awesome.
It was amazing.
Unbelievable.
Then, hey, can we do the part outside then first before
Yep.
then with what really got it spicy?
Yeah.
The energy was just at an all-time high there.
And I feel like,
Oh.
I feel like, did Ed Reed know them before? It sounded like
Yes,
he knew
he,
of them. Knew.
I think
Ed had said he had flown them actually out to Baltimore a few times for one of his events.
No shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
so
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
He said, but then there's now a jazz group in Baltimore that he really likes. So he said it's just easier to use them. But no, he said for a lot of years he flew them up to Maryland.
Wow.
They
do his
were
events.
all
They were
time.
incredible.
I would actually, like, if I had known, I would even consider them hiring them for like my wedding. Like, I thought like
Oh.
they were playing "I Got 5 on It."
Yeah,
And
I need-
was like,
nice.
I need the jazz version of that.
That was
Stat.
electric. But then, how did you find out? How did you know that from Ed? Zach.
So actually, I got to give a shout out to Brad because he's the only one who caught on to what was
Yes.
being said. So pretty much they had asked if it was anyone's birthday.
The
around.
band did.
Yeah, the band did. And no one really heard except Brad, who then immediately obviously pointed to me because it was my
Not even
Birthday.
pointed. Yelled.
yes.
Yeah.
This guy right over there.
I might have had a few Bloody Marys, but like I was dragging your ass to the front where the band was for sure.
Yeah, and then I guess the rest from there, let's just say it was
Electric.
yeah, once in a lifetime
Yes.
kind of thing that happened. So I guess let's
Pop it up there.
yeah, pop it up.
You want me to pop it up there?
Yeah, toss that thing.
Yeah,
All
pop,
right.
pop it up.
Pop it, Candy Man. Where is it? Goodness gracious.
Right here. I got it.
You got it? Go ahead.
Come on, bro.
Less than 2 days ago.
And then
The dancing didn't stop.
There was
yeah, I was gonna say, and then here's the other one that was.
And in case you didn't know, that is the greatest safety of all time, Ed Reed.
Ed Reed.
He came in. I thought M&T Bank gave him that big hat. Kev.
No,
He just walked
He
in
brought
with
that.
He
He
brought
brought that
it
He did.
himself.
Yeah.
I need one of those. We talking about the hat. The
Well, he
hat
literally
program
said,
on the show.
obviously, people know Gilly wears his big Eagles hat
Yeah.
and all the stuff.
Mhm.
And Ed goes, well, I knew Gilly was going to wear his, so I had to bring Baltimore here,
Yeah,
too.
that's right.
So in that first video we showed, that's when they dapped each other up. That's when Ed's like, probably happy birthday, and I bring this band up to New Orleans. Is that how it went down? Essentially,
Yeah, so we pretty much walked up, and he told me when he first walked up to me, he was like, you just got to move. He was like, greatest safety of all time tells you just got to move. You
Yeah,
start
you gotta
moving.
do it,
Like,
dude.
you
You gotta
start
do it.
moving. And then after that, he said a few times that, like, this is how we, had to show me how they do it down in New Orleans. And that's when we started talking about the band a little afterwards. I said he always hires them and stuff to come to his charity events. And yeah, it just a super awesome moment. Super awesome guy. He genuinely was.
he was great.
Yeah,
And
he's awesome.
Then we
he,
talked to him for like 15, 20 minutes after.
Yeah,
And-
so I
handing
went,
us cigars and everything.
Mhm.
I went up when I initially went up, and you guys came over to talk. I said, hey, like Ed, good to see you. And we looks like we might be getting them up here.
Yeah.
Come check out the pad here in the studio. But he's like, oh, hey, it's good to see you because saw him when I was younger, and I go, hey man, like thanks. He goes, oh, that guy's with you. I'm like, yeah. And Zach also was going, why didn't you guys come up and dance with us? I'm like, dude, you're the one they're singing happy birthday
Yeah.
to.
Ed called you guys out too, though.
He did.
So-
he called me out. He said I should have been out there dancing too.
Oh, I
but
didn't
it's like,
hear that part.
wasn't
he
my
points at
birthday.
Brad and goes, yeah, your boy just leads you out there and he's filming.
Like it wasn't my birthday.
And also, for the most part, it wasn't Justin. I feel like, I was fine.
I was feeling myself, but I wasn't.
I would.
Unfortunately, way too sober to probably be dancing with Ed Reed. Like I did, the hips were not doing it.
You were.
You're
look.
a little stiff right
You
there.
look very scared.
You got to bend over to the
Well,
front.
because I
and
thought when
touch
they're
your
like, "Hey,
toes.
birthday's around," like I was like, "Okay, this is a big event. There must be like a lot of."
And damn well there was.
Yeah.
You damn well there was somebody else. So it was for the month. They asked for anybody who
the
had
month.
birthdays
It
in the
wasn't
month.
even like, hey, is it like this
there
week?
were
Like,
February
yeah.
birthdays.
You tell me of everyone there. There were what, like
I
200-300 people there? You're telling me?
You know what though? It wouldn't have been nearly as cool
Yeah,
No,
if
I
other
agree.
people were up there and it was just you and Ed. That was the coolest shit ever.
that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. So we hope to get him back in here. We should get one of those hats for you, Kevin.
Yeah, I think it would just engulf my head.
Oh, maybe we get an Oriole one for
There you go.
the season.
I will say it
Spring
was
training.
afterwards talking to Ed and Thurman. It was just the ball knowledge. Thurman talking
yeah.
about the tush push.
Yep.
Was the funniest conversation I've ever had with an athlete. He was like, "We got grown men trying to push, having other guys push them to gain a yard." He goes, "Back in my day, it was line up 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and block a motherfucker." he was like, "You earned shit."
He's not wrong.
Oh my
it
god.
was Thurman was great. He was also, we were talking about, and Red's like, I got to roll with Baltimore, but I'm gonna call it how it is. Didn't go well up there, and Thurman goes, ha, ha, ha. Like he's throwing his hands up.
Yeah.
He's throwing his like, yeah, we won. And they're like, you lost to the Chiefs. He goes, yeah, I know. But it was a really great group, and shout out M&T Bank, phenomenal. Honestly, it was great. They were hoping one of those two teams, Bills or Ravens,
Yeah.
are the ones that they represent for the most part. And
God, we were too. Can you imagine the Ravens made it to the Super Bowl and
in this
M&T
economy.
would have just they'd have hooked us up. I know they would.
This is actually from the party right here too. One of the giveaways. This is a little kind of memento there from
that's
the
cool.
Super Bowl. So it was great. The hat and this little.
Yeah, what is that thing next
That's
to
the
it?
coin.
It's got the coin.
It's the official coin.
Official coin.
Not the one they flipped, obviously.
yeah,
the
they
blue
didn't flip
pack and
that
ball,
one.
But
Yeah.
that was
That's
the official
awesome.
game coin.
Nice.
What both sides say.
Yeah.
Yep.
But also to be frank, Brooks, he might have been stiff in more ways than one. But
Whoa.
in general, here,
Golly.
he
Jeez.
was, you got to bend the hips a little bit more.
Yeah.
There was some kicking to the door down, but it was kind of tame overall.
Yeah.
If we had gone into one of those bars that was playing the music that I was bumping, then how we felt on Friday would have been 25 times worse than how it was on Thursday morning or Friday morning. So I'm very thankful for that, but we're going to have to make our ways back. Still terrified what that's going to entail for Kevin at some point.
We tried to get Zach in a gay bar for his birthday, just didn't.
Oh my god,
work out.
Yeah.
The gay bars
Street.
were. Whew,
They were popping.
no shame in them gay bars.
They were popping off.
Like,
And I'm just talking about what you saw from the street.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
They
saying.
were promoting very much from the street.
Yeah, of all the places, because there
Very,
are
very, very interactive group of people.
there was like, it was ironic. Some of the other gentlemen's clubs were around, and like some would like walk right up to the doorway of theirs when you'd walk by, and
Some of the women, yeah.
The other bar, windows down, out in the street promoting it.
Jock straps, nothing else. Just walking around the street. I mean, this is what I'm saying. New Orleans is like nothing. There is nothing better, and you can't convince me of it, to have a Super Bowl. No place better to have a Super Bowl than New Orleans.
It was incredible down there. They're just they
it was my first one.
That.
My first one, and I've never and I could just already tell. There's no better place.
It was. New Orleans has a culture to it. And even that, the Friday night, we ended up not going to any of the parties. We went to one on Thursday night. Friday, I was like, we want to get some food, Kevin. You ever had some gumbo, Kev?
I have. I was in New Orleans for the Super Bowl back in.
So which gumbo did you have?
The one we had crawfish in there. I think we had crawfish in the gumbo.
Mm-hmm. There's a seafood gumbo. So
yeah,
that's probably
that
what
was
you
probably
had.
it. Yeah.
We had char-grilled oysters.
I was gonna say, oh my gosh, Acme was the best decision we made that week.
Acme, yeah, the char-grilled oysters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the best food.
All food at Acme was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. Like the food scene was incredible, and honestly, everything about it was fun. And I know people were saying when we talked about the gay bars, I enjoyed every bit of it. Like it was
awesome.
Everything was amazing.
I was not kidding about going in there.
No, like honestly, that it was popping. The energy was.
It looked
electric.
like
it was packed.
It looked like it was a damn good time.
Yeah, it was bumping in there.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I'm very secure with. I was in the locker room for all the years. I'm whatever anyone wants to do, I'm all good with it. I am. But my point is, what I loved about the city is, one, they embrace whoever you are. They embrace you down there.
Yeah,
they're welcoming as hell. They want to
hospitality is ridiculous.
They want you to feel comfortable. That's what was so great about Bourbon Street. And I know there was a lot of. Military presence and security, and it should.
I actually like that.
I
didn't care about that.
And it should be. And unfortunately, one thing was, and it was a very, sobering moment, is that we did go and see the memorial.
Yeah, that was.
So it was to have a moment.
Yeah.
And it does make you remind and reflect and just realize that was something that tragically happened just a month and a half ago.
And it was one of those things where it was very humbling and like kind of like put you back in the moment type thing, because you're sitting there having this incredible time on Bourbon Street, and then you see that and it hits you of like they were having the time of their lives, like we're out here having fun, and they were all just doing that too. And this tragically happens.
Yeah.
So it's a very good reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with all that, though, having said that, you walked around the streets there and it was chaotic, but it wasn't unruly. It was just a giant party.
Yeah. Everybody's having a good time.
Everyone was just having a good time. The sightseeing, that's what we did Friday night. We're like, hey, we're not going to go to the party. I just want to be down in the action. Then you got the Eagles fans in the bar. You have everyone just rocking and rolling. And then there was the people that came in from out of town, and then like the locals you felt there on Bourbon, and it was
the people watching was my favorite part.
Oh yeah, it was.
Just grab yourself a hand grenade and walk around. Highly entertaining.
Highly entertaining. We did that, and also don't step in some poop.
Yeah,
don't step in some
it's everywhere.
Shit. And it was incredible. All of it was absolutely incredible. But then we're not even talking about the content that we got from there, and I think that's the part that. We have so much golf content, and shout out Gridiron Golf. It turned out to just be a match made in heaven, because we rolled down the Gridiron Golf there, and we have, I don't even know, we're probably going to have 50 clips come out of this eventually.
Unbelievable.
And shout out Zach for making this, but this was just, we're going to give you a teaser of what this is going to end up being, but enjoy this little montage, so to speak, of.
Do we have it? We want me to hit.
I think you can do it. Of this montage of our Gridiron Golf at Radio Row. That's not even everyone that even missed.
No,
that was Zach had, and you had a computer shut down when you're finishing the project last night.
Yeah, so that was that. But no, that was a lot of fun to put together. There were some, unfortunately, like it was one of those things where I was like, oh, like not to spoil, but like Josh Jacobs and stuff. I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome to throw him in. Motherfucker makes it first shot.
Yeah,
I'm like, God.
It.
I'm like,
Drilled
come on,
it.
Man.
He just knows how to find the end zone.
Adam Brennan made 3 in a row.
Yeah. I mean, we have and the things that we're going to put together is we had interviews, and we had a lot of those people that did interview. Every interview that we had, except for the first day, truly on Wednesday, like Tuesday was a little bit of a chaos because we actually lost power when we were down there.
Which now we can look back and laugh at.
But at the time it was like in the middle of a sit down with front office sports, having a really good conversation, then whammy, power goes out. And then Wednesday we had some really good guests that we wish we had done some with. But Thursday we were locked and loaded, put out the Gridiron Golf. So everyone that sat down for an interview from Thursday and Friday putted. And then we also had people that were walking by,
just saw it and wanted to putt.
Yeah.
That was the thing, like Matthew Barry was right there. I was like, hey, man, you want to knock this one through? He goes, yeah. Yeah. And he goes, I'll do it. And he goes, I'll initially he's like, I'll just do a putt. And then he saw it and he went, fuck it.
And then
fuck it. I'm locking in.
And that's when you saw him start to read the greens. That video. That's what we actually had multiple. There's some competitive motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
Like Dan Orlovsky was reading. Like there were a lot of people sitting there trying to read if there was any sort of tilt, anything like this. You realize pretty quickly that this is a very competitive, football, media, all that. Like everyone's competitive.
Oh, and I would have been really curious, like Kev, if you had beaten somebody, and we were looking for a sign of putting something up of, hey, putt, if you make this, we'll donate. If you miss, you can throw our Kevin around or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, can you beat Kevin? And I feel like if anyone lost to you, I think if Dan lost to you,
he would have actually beaten Kevin up.
Well, maybe not. The Dan interview that we put out, and people should go back and watch. Dan is super competitive, and he almost lost a friendship over that. We'll save the story over wiffle ball. We'll save the rest of the story for that. That's how Dean Blandino came up. Mike Pereira. We were talking to Torrey Smith, sitting down, and I'm dapping up Torrey to say goodbye. Like, hey man, we'll be in touch. And all of a sudden I turn back around and Dean's just sitting right down, ready to be interviewed.
Yeah.
And like Zach goes, hey, by the way, Dean's ready to be interviewed. I'm like, Dean, who? He's like, Blandino. I'm like, holy shirts and pants. And Brad's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to roll. It was great. And actually it's funny with really got to update that putter. The group there brought a putter, PX, whatever it was.
PXG.
So actually, if
it's
you
PXG,
look at,
right?
Shoot, where was that video just go? It's gonna say here, if we want to, if you look at where is he, Michael Brockers, he's got the real putter. Yeah, he was using the real putter there. So did I show him missing at some point? Dante Hall's reaction was hilarious. I'm trying to find, but yeah, a lot of cool.
And this wasn't even
that's awesome.
This wasn't even all of the guys that
that's a fraction. So we'll have to figure out how we're going to announce that on Twitter. I think it's probably where that live. But anybody who made a putt, we added $10 to a pool of money that we're going to give away to our fans, to our viewers, to our audience. So
putts.
Everybody was making putts because we were going to give back to you. So we will be putting that out. I think when we put out the montage, I guess, of everything, we'll make the announcement then. But there was that part of it. We're also going to be giving away a Gridiron Golf set. But I'll tell you what, guys. As we start to wrap things up here, for me, we had tons of fun, and everybody was having a good time with the Gridiron Golf. The friendships that we made, Adam Rank came out and hung out with us.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
And said that we were the highlight of his week. And so like the validation that we got, like we belong here, was really awesome.
Yeah.
Not just from Adam Rank, but like a lot of other guys are like, keep doing what you're doing. Adam Shine, we talked to Adam Shine a little bit. Just keep doing what you're doing. And so I'm looking forward to next year's Radio Row and many years after that, because I don't think we're going anywhere, boys.
No. And guys that we didn't even really sit down to interview that we hung out with, John Molinaro, like talk about a guy that he hung out with, just walking up and like we weren't even recording or anything, and he just sat down and he was like, "Man, how you guys doing?" And like we just casually talked to him, and he was like, "Yeah, after this show, if you guys are still out, let me know where you are." And crazy enough, he did at like 12:30 a.m. He was like, "You guys still out?" We're like,
"Oh man,
he's a good dude. We're gonna try to get him down here." So that was the thing, is he was running around doing stuff for FanDuel, and he's like, "Yeah, man, hey, I'll come back. Let's just chat it up." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, come on back." So he did, and he's really funny. He's an awesome guy. You know, Adam Rank, we mentioned before, was great, but then just making those other connections were phenomenal. And even though we didn't get a chance to sit down with Todd Heap and Dennis Pitta, we are going to sit down in the future with them. That was like 4 or 5 different times of just missing each other in the process. But I
have to say, but my favorite thing, obviously off the air, was Dennis Pitta talking about the multiple people that came up to shake Todd Heap's hand. We're like, "Dude, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Absolutely love you." And like Dennis would put his hand out to shake him, and they just walk away. And he's like, "No, it's cool.
Wow.
It's cool." And Chad Steele kept making fun of him. He's like, "Yeah, no one wants to talk to Dennis." I was like, "Geez,
hey, you want to talk to Todd?"
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah.
You just never know where things would turn. So it's gonna be fun, because having our full set of guys will be even a more enjoyable period of time. And, then it's baseball season. So the reason why we're going to take a little bit of time off is not because we don't love you guys. We love you. It doesn't mean that there won't be impromptu breaking news. And I mean, hell, Kevin and Zach might be breaking news, or Baby Fat and Zach.
God.
Could be doing stuff if there's some breaking news, especially revolving the Orioles or Ravens. But we're going to regroup because we have so much content that we're going to have pushed out for you guys, and we got to get ready for spring training. We are going down to spring training, and we're working out on our full itinerary, so to speak.
Yep.
But we're looking like we're going to have our full team, hopefully.
Close to it.
Hopefully our full team going. So, and Lord knows what could happen when that happens, when we have the full band together. So it is
we're going to spend an entire day with the O's, right?
Plan is to do that, and then we're working on some other evolutions.
Other stuff.
Yeah. Also, by the way, Deep Eddy, they're launching the pineapple. I meant to tell you guys.
Oh, hell yeah. Sign me up.
But you might be leaving next week. So they're having a little get-together.
Oh, they're having an event.
They're having an event in Baltimore next week.
Who is?
Deep Eddy, they're launching the pineapple vodka.
Ooh.
Talk about a pineapple crush, chef's kiss.
Bro. Pineapple, like the high noons. I was waiting for Deep Eddy to do this, because my favorite high noon is pineapple high noon. There isn't a better flavor out there.
It's going to be fun, and we got a lot planned for baseball season, man. A ton, but we got to get the content out first. And we wrapped up football season. Is there any moments then, guys? Your favorite moments from football? I mean, was it for Zach and Brad? Would you guys say it's a Super Bowl?
Well, like that's Kev, that's the layup.
Kev, do you have one of those besides Q roasting you?
You think that was a favorite moment of mine?
That was up there.
It was one of the most
one of the favorites for you guys.
One of the most hilarious moments.
Favorite moment from football season,
or one of the highlight moments.
One of the highlight moments. I would probably I think it's funny that every week we would say that, wasn't it yesterday that Isaiah Likely, we just every single week we just absolutely put that bit in the ground. I don't know.
Could be show related, it could be season
because I'm trying to think of show related. I mean, season related, it was the Bengals comebacks were fun for me. Not defensively, but
not for your heart rate.
Watching Lamar coming out on top of those were fun.
For me, personally, obviously besides Super Bowl, it's got to be talking to Nick more each week and probably more intentionally getting him fired up about college football.
That was
talking to Nick more at 2 a.m. was probably
that was it.
Actually,
It was after the game. Nick popped on.
Is that the Steelers game?
Yeah. Nick popped on after the Steelers game and because Nick did that a couple times with us after the games and kind of starting that up and having Nick come on and share because players will do their post-game media availabilities after the game, but getting a raw reaction from a player, and Nick does a great job of just breaking it all down and being Nick isn't like someone that will gloss over stuff or try to avoid. Nick gets right to the point and he says what he means.
Yeah.
So I appreciated Nick for doing that, and hopefully we can start that up again next season. So
yeah, it's fun. All the times Nick was coming in the studio.
I was going to say, maybe we can get him in the studio.
That was my favorite time when Nick came into the studio. Which never happened.
Although when Nick comes into the studio, it's always an interesting time. We had him debunk a announced acquisition when he was like,
yeah,
so I actually don't think Will Lutz is going to the Jaguars. And we're like,
my sources.
Yeah, we're like, did you text Will Lutz? He's like, maybe, but I think we should hold off on that news.
I was thinking about the Nick Moore moments were obviously great. Getting him fired up and rock over the SEC was
fantastic.
Yeah, too easy.
The Kevin wearing the toucan outfit.
Yeah, that was good.
The happy birthday for Kevin, which was
my god,
the recently was great.
Yeah.
The putt offs with Kevin and having to do squats.
I beat you in those too, by the way.
Not in the squats.
Not in the squats, but in the Gridiron Golf.
He did one time, and I remember we were going to do sit-ups, and your ass was going to be facing
good
camera.
Good PR move for us not to.
Very good.
Mine was when you were hitting the footballs at me, and you couldn't hit me.
Oh, with
the big deep eddy one.
Yeah, British and this is awesome. This is one of the highlights for us as well.
Yep.
The Collins adding in for our show component was fantastic.
That was a rising success.
Yeah,
Collins were awesome.
And British Raven, the helmet every week. It just you
by
got
far
one
of our most favorite Collins was British Raven.
No, my gosh, the Christmas one was when he
with the
was
presents on the back.
Yeah, the Santa Claus
beard.
British Raven.
Oh my God,
British Raven, it's been a pleasure to talk to you all year. It's been awesome.
And it's not going to stop. I mean, we're going to have all this continue on for baseball season. It's just we're switching seasons. And so the other thing to keep you guys in the loop, we're always going to have our ties to Baltimore. Make no mistake. It's where we're based out of. But we have added some more connections, and we're going to try to continue to expand our baseball conversations and content. And then when football rolls back around with who we just met down in the Super Bowl, we're going to look to add to our football content and our lifestyle. That's one thing I want you guys to think about. We're adding a lifestyle component to our segments here. We're still going to talk a whole lot of sports, but we do know that we've listened. People love the goofy component. People love food. People love drink. People like just having a good time. So we got a lot of things that are going to be added on into our program of content here. So we can't wait to share with you guys. This isn't goodbye. This is just see you later. We'll be back in a couple weeks, right?
March 3rd will be our first show back. So that's Monday, March 3rd.
So about 3 weeks.
About a month.
Now I will say for our channel members, though, I will, if anything's are to happen, and I still might have an impromptu. I'm at home. I'm alone. And I need to just check in with you guys.
I just know the Orioles are going to drop a move, so we'll be live.
So if that happens, we'll do, of course, do like reactionary type videos when it warrants it. But as far as the show itself, we just want to make sure that we're preparing ourselves for the baseball season because there is a lot that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, a lot. And also, and Laura, don't worry, there's going to be, I really do find myself, if I'm going to be at home or chilling, for our channel members, I'm going to pop on. We might have a little rip after dark. And Brad's right. Just reiterating our Monday and Thursday show. We're just going to take some time off because we're also still trying to get out like 200 clips for you guys.
We're still chopping up stuff.
Oh my goodness. It is going to be, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
But it's all good stuff, and you guys are going to love what we have upcoming. And who knows, maybe we're going to add another day to the week for the Ryan Ripken Show. So a lot to digest, and we appreciate you guys. Guys, final thoughts?
We can't go anywhere yet because I want to welcome you all to the Zach Bollinger birthday party.
Uh-oh.
No way.
Uh-oh.
He's been waiting.
You should
to do
see
this
this guy running. It's ridiculous.
Even Ollie's scared now.
Yeah, Ollie's terrified. In our studio right now, we apologize. We literally took everything from the airport.
So
There's bags everywhere. There's shit everywhere.
Did he disappear?
When I move, I'm a little afraid. Ollie, I'm scared.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
All right, everybody get your birthday party hats first.
Oh my gosh.
All right, everybody put them on.
Thank you, Kevin.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't have our overhead camera hooked up, but
That's okay.
thanks, Kevin.
I'm going hat over the hat. Is that the move?
Okay, so
Oh, I don't like it with my hairline there. Woof.
we're gonna.
Is this from your damn cat party, these hats?
I hope it is.
I think they actually are.
This is from Banks'
So
party.
first we have a chocolate croissant with a candle. We're gonna put that in. But then I was looking in the hand grenade. I was looking for something to give to Zach.
Do you want this?
I got one of these.
Oh, look at
I've
that.
never had one of
The
those.
poppies are
before.
good.
No, it's a buzz ball.
Yeah, buzz ball, that's what I meant.
But
Yeah.
it's the hand grenade color. So I thought in the spirit,
Lime Rita Chiller. I love it, Kevin.
in the spirit of that. So hold on, we're gonna.
Oh my gosh.
Ollie, it's okay, buddy. Are you all right?
But also,
It's just Kevin running
It's
around.
just Kevin.
I don't even have my hat on. Hold on.
Yeah, Kevin, what are you doing? That is
Jeez.
not the way to put that hat on.
God damn.
Sorry. But we have one more thing, and this is for everybody.
Uh-oh.
We have an England delicacy.
Well,
Uh-oh, British Raven.
So
Nick.
because I did live there for a year. These are Smarties.
Forget about that.
Smarties are
Smarties. So
English
essentially,
delicacy?
they're chocolate.
Oh, so not
Oh,
those
those
Smarties.
Smarties.
No.
Oh,
we had a
Yes,
different
they're
thought.
just chocolate.
Oh.
So I'll get everybody gets one.
Okay.
Thank you.
I
They're
love
chocolate pieces.
We're just-
Essentially.
Okay. All right. Like
Oh,
cho-
Nestle, though, too.
like chocolate nerds? Or like
I
they're like
did-
like M&Ms.
yeah. Not with peanuts though, of course. But so,
That
all
is
right.
such a cool lighter. Hold up.
Yeah, this is the if you can see.
What are you using with that for?
Oh my God, Kevin, that's electric.
It's one of those like
Oh, the electric
The
lighters, like
electric ones.
Oh, it's just gonna tase the
yeah, exactly.
It's gonna tase the candle.
It's an electric fire.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
That's what the building's been wanting.
Yep. Our insurance just went up.
Oh, this is incredible.
Oh,
All right, so we gotta sing happy birthday.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Zach. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Jesus.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're
Thank you guys
welcome.
for
I
everything.
had to pay it back. So
What a time. This is what it's all about. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone who tunes in. Genuinely, this is the greatest thing we get to do in the world.
Yep.
I mean, just
Oh,
getting
yeah.
to do this all the time. It genuinely is a blessing. So thank you, everyone who tunes in. It makes us able to do this. So
Yeah, and it's honestly kind of crazy. This is actually last year when we started the show, we didn't take time off. We just kept going.
yeah.
And Brad and I looked at each other and we're like, oh, we think we're on to something special. And because we got to make sure that we take a moment to breathe because we want to try to enhance. It's kind of funny though, right, Zach, Kev?
yeah,
that the evolution of where we've gotten to so far. It's not perfect, but in 15 months, that's as long as we've been around. Zach was added 3 months in, Brad, I think.
Yeah.
Kevin was added 5 months in.
6, yeah.
So when we're looking at this now,
Rocco's been recurring guest.
Yep, Rocco's still recurring, and we like him sometimes. Just kidding. We love Rock, but in that time frame, like we went to the winter meetings, we just accomplished our first full year of sports coverage.
Yeah.
Our first full year. This is going to be year 2. And we wouldn't be here without you guys. So we appreciate it. It's going to be a fun year. Baseball season round 2. I know everyone's excited, and I promise you, we're going to talk about baseball. I joked with Brad. Like, I'm not ready to get into all that yet, but I promise it's going to be an overload of content. And Kevin, Lord knows, there was a question earlier about if you like fish more or something else in the comment, your fish collection or something else.
Oh, the fish collection.
But we're going to find out soon enough when you guys do it every single night. So
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're almost fully back.
Yeah.
Ken and Zach React, 162.
Yeah.
What a time.
And I think we will break the threshold this year for 2,400, which I have promised.
Yeah,
that
24
we're
hours.
going to do a 24-hour stream when we hit 2,400 on Kevin and Zach React.
That's not enough subscribers for a 24-hour stream.
Well, I also said
That would be
24,000.
24,000?
I also
maybe.
said we're going to do it in studio for 24,000, but 2,400 just a light 24-hour stream. Nothing too crazy.
Just a light that is crazy. Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
We'll probably have to do like a right before the Orioles start a game, like on when they do like a night game.
We could do like a live reaction.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So try to hit 2 Orioles games in the 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool. Maybe go mobile for one of them.
Yeah,
I could do something like that.
Well, let's just say also the whole experience here at Gridiron Golf has opened up our eyes to more.
Yeah.
If we thought boots on the ground initially was opening up for football season, we got more ideas for baseball season.
Yes.
And corn dogs, Jackie. Corn dogs for all these people. What movie, Kevin?
Only for me, actually, but I don't know the movie. You can't punish Zach's birthday celebration.
Has nothing to do with Zach.
It's nothing to do with Zach.
Took off his party hat.
Wow.
We traded Monix. You were traded for a washing machine.
Is that another movie reference?
Been punched in the jejunum.
Jumanji.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know that line of "God damn it, Verkitis, learn fucking English"?
No.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know why you thought he would know that.
I don't either. I don't.
Do you know the movie where Will Ferrell played basketball?
Oh.
Jive Turkey's a little over the line,
Yes,
my man.
I know the movie.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
That's not it.
That's
Kevin.
not-
Well, I don't know.
That's
I
not
know.
it.
I have a picture.
Tropic Thunder is Ben
I know,
Stiller and
I'm
Robert
saying-
Downey
No,
Jr.
what am I?
I mean, they were the Tropics.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The Flint,
Why-
Michigan Tropics.
Yeah. Why am I blanking on the movie now?
I have the like the headband and everything. Like I have the picture of him playing basketball in my mind.
Yeah, I literally have a Tropics jersey, which is the issue.
It's just tough for the program.
This is
is a
tough
tough
for the
one.
program.
We haven't done any of my movies.
Okay, Rocco, get
Rocco,
out of the
yeah,
comments.
kiss my
We're
ass.
literally about to hit the
Yeah.
music. So
Get lost, bro.
this is Rocco's cameo.
Yeah.
Congrats on making it to the show, Rocco. Thank you.
Yeah, recurring guest.
Recurring guest.
Don't worry, we're gonna have a lot. Probably too much Rocco moving forward.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. All right, guys. Hey, I think it's time to cue it. As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. We love you. We'll be back, taking a few weeks off, 2 weeks off to be exact. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking week. If you ever need anything, just holler at us. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Hey, hold that hand grenade.